Number 8. Purposeful action. Make every move count. This isn't just about staying busy or crossing things off a to-do list. It's about acting with intention, knowing why you're doing what you're doing, and making sure that your actions are aligned with your goals and values. It's about moving through life with direction, rather than just drifting from one thing to the next. And here's the beauty of it. When you act with purpose, people notice. You're not just another face in the crowd, aimlessly going through the motions. You become someone who's focused, intentional, and determined, qualities that make you stand out and leave a lasting impression. One of the great Stoic philosophers, Epicurus, said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's a perfect way to think about purposeful action. It starts with knowing what you're striving for, who you want to be, and then making choices that reflect that. Purposeful action means you're not just reacting to life's events, you're shaping your own path. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal growth, when you make deliberate choices, you create momentum. People around you will see that you're not just floating through life, you're on a mission, and that makes you memorable. Think about how often we get caught up in the busyness of life, doing things out of habit, without really thinking about why we're doing them. It's easy to fall into the trap of just getting through the day, reacting to whatever comes our way. But the Stoics teach us to live with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?" He reminds us that we're not here just to float along. We're here to take purposeful action, to live meaningfully, and to make each day count. Imagine waking up every morning with a clear sense of purpose. You know what you want to accomplish, and every action you take is aimed at moving you closer to your goals. You're not just busy for the sake of being busy, you're focused on what really matters. That kind of intentional living changes everything. You become more productive, more fulfilled, and more in control of your life. And here's the kicker. Others notice. They see you moving with purpose, and they start to respect your determination and drive. You become someone they look up to, someone they want to follow, because you're showing them what it means to live with intention. Purposeful action is also about making sure that what you do aligns with your values. It's easy to get caught up in the grind, doing things because they're expected of us or because they seem urgent. But if you take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, does this align with my goals? Is this moving me toward the person I want to be? You'll find that a lot of what we do can be streamlined or even eliminated. When you act with purpose, you focus on what really matters, and that gives your life a sense of clarity and direction. And here's the thing, that clarity radiates outward. People start to notice that you're not distracted by the noise, you're focused on what's important, and that makes you someone they remember. The Stoics were all about taking responsibility for your actions and making sure that every move you make is intentional. They understood that time is limited, and wasting it on things that don't matter is one of the greatest mistakes we can make. When you act with purpose, you honor your time and your potential. You stop spending your energy on things that don't serve you, and you start putting it toward what does. This kind of intentionality is rare, and it's what sets you apart. People will see that you're not just going with the flow, you're carving out your own path, and they'll be inspired by your focus. Living with purpose doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out all the time. It just means that you're intentional about the steps you take. You may not know exactly how everything will unfold, but you're moving forward with a clear sense of direction. And when setbacks happen, and they will, you don't lose sight of the bigger picture. You adapt, adjust your course, and keep going. That resilience, combined with purpose, is what makes you truly unforgettable. People will look at you and see someone who's driven, focused, and unshaken by the challenges that come their way. Number 9. Gratitude for the present. The secret to being unforgettable. Gratitude might seem like one of those simple feel-good concepts we hear about all the time, but don't underestimate its power. Practicing gratitude, especially for the present moment, can completely shift the way you experience life and how others experience you. When you're grateful for what you have, for where you are right now, it shows. You radiate a certain energy that's contagious, and people can't help but notice. It's not just about saying thank you every once in a while. It's about living in a state of appreciation for the little things that make life what it is. And when you do this, people are drawn to you because you're someone who brings positivity and light into every interaction. Here's what the Stoics had to say about gratitude. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Think about that for a second. Before you even start your day, take a moment to appreciate the simple fact that you are alive, that you have the ability to think and feel. Gratitude doesn't have to be about grand, life-changing events. It can be as simple as being thankful for the fresh air, for the food on your table, or for the people in your life. When you approach life with this kind of gratitude, you see things differently, and you start to appreciate moments that others might overlook. And here's the key: that mindset makes you unforgettable because people notice when someone truly enjoys life. Think about the people you've met who seem genuinely happy, not because they have everything, but because they're grateful for what they have. It's rare, isn't it? Most people get caught up in what they don't have, what they're chasing, or what's not going right. But when you meet someone who's content and grateful, they stand out. You find yourself thinking, how are they always so positive? What's their secret? That secret is gratitude. They've learned to appreciate the present moment for what it is, rather than constantly longing for something more. And that kind of peace and positivity is memorable. It leaves a mark on the people you meet. Gratitude for the present is especially powerful because it anchors you in the here and now. So often we get stuck worrying about the future or regretting the past, but gratitude pulls us back to the present moment. It reminds us to appreciate what's happening right now. When you're grateful for the present, you're not distracted by what's next. You're fully engaged in the moment, and that's something people can feel. Imagine having a conversation with someone who's not just there physically, but is fully present, appreciating the interaction for what it is. That person is engaged, they're listening, and they're valuing the time spent together. It's rare, and it's powerful. And let's be real, gratitude can be hard to practice, especially when things aren't going your way. Maybe you've had a rough day, or life just isn't lining up the way you planned. In those moments, it's tempting to focus on what's missing or what's wrong, but that's exactly when gratitude becomes most important. Even in tough times, there's always something to be thankful for, even if it's small. The Stoics believed that finding gratitude in hardship strengthens us, makes us more resilient, and shifts our perspective. Instead of dwelling on what's lacking, you learn to find the value in every situation. And when you do that, people notice your strength. They see that you can find light even in the darkest times, and that makes you unforgettable. Gratitude also has a way of making you more approachable. When you're grateful, you're less likely to complain or criticize. Instead, you focus on the good, and that draws people in. They feel uplifted by your energy, by your ability to see the silver lining in any situation. You become someone they want to be around because your attitude makes them feel good. And here's the thing, people remember how you make them feel. When you're the person who consistently brings a sense of appreciation and joy to the table, people can't help but think of you fondly. They remember the warmth you bring to conversations, the way you make them feel valued, and the positive energy you exude. There's also a personal benefit to practicing gratitude. It brings you peace. When you're constantly focused on what you lack, life feels like a struggle, a constant chase for something more. But when you practice gratitude, you start to feel more content with where you are. You realize that, even if everything isn't perfect, there's still so much to appreciate. That sense of contentment shows in the way you carry yourself. You're not constantly stressed or anxious about what's next. You're grounded, and that makes you stand out in a world that's always rushing ahead. The Stoics understood that gratitude isn't just a nice to have, it's a necessity for a meaningful life. It helps us focus on what we can control, on the things that bring us joy, and on the relationships that matter most. When you're grateful, you become more present, more thoughtful, and more connected to the people around you. And that's what makes you unforgettable. People don't just remember what you do, they remember the energy you bring. And when you bring gratitude into every moment, you leave a lasting impression of warmth, positivity, and grace.